Well, welcome back. I'm Teri Belf, and I'm the world's first Master Certified Coach. And it is my pleasure to continue our series looking at what differentiates or distinguishes masterful coaches. In this video, we're going to do points number 5 and 6. 5 has to do with choosing the future instead of the past. And 6 has to do with going for the top line, not the bottom line. So let's go to the future. Now, I have to say that there is value in our past. It is a resource. We certainly have learned things that are useful, and yet masterful coaches do not guide clients or initiate conversations about the past. And I'll show you how we do enable clients to get that information. So I just want to point out, you would never hear a masterful coach say, "Can you think of a time when?" That's not what we do in our profession. Let's say a client, I'll give you an example of this. Let's say a client is having difficulty saying no, that there's a lot of requests perhaps from her work and she just has trouble saying no. So you would not say, "Can you think of a time when you did not have difficulty saying no?" Instead, you would say, "Think of a time 2 to 3 months from now," the future, because of course the future doesn't exist yet, so you can make it up any way you want to. Think of a time 2 to 3 months in the future, and you have said no and are very proud of yourself the way you did it. It accomplished what you really want. What's happening? So think about this. The client can easily go back to the past and extract those pieces that are useful for this situation, instead of having gone back to finding an incident and everything that had to do with that incident, whether it was useful or not, and picking out those pieces that were useful and bringing them into the present. Instead, by saying what's happening, the client can go back to the past and bring forth anything that is needed to create the future. And that's how we do it. The second point today has to do with the bottom line of most businesses, they would say, is productivity, increased productivity leading to financial success. Well, I have published in a number of places my opinions about focusing on the bottom line. I prefer to focus on the top line, and I call the top line the underlying motivation for everything. And I'm going to ask you to try this out, and then I'll give you my reasons why I think it's working. So think of something you want in the next few months. I mean, it could be a bigger condo or a new computer or maybe an advanced degree. Think of something you want. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Okay? Now, ask yourself, what will that bring me when I get that? And now take that answer and say, and what will that bring me? And maybe you have to do it one more time. What will that bring me? And I bet you came up with some state of being. And that's the top line. Everything we do has a top line of a state of being, and that's why we want it. So let me fill in some of the blanks by examples. Let's say a client says, "I want a bigger computer." Okay? So what will that bring you? Well, it'll bring me more speed. And what will more speed bring you? Greater efficiency. And what will greater efficiency bring you? Well, I have more time, more free time to be spontaneous. So bigger computer leads to increased spontaneity, a state of being. How about if you wanted a bigger condo? Well, what would that bring you? Well, I'd have more rooms and more places to put things. And what would that bring you? Well, if I had more rooms and places to put things, then I might be able to have a little nook or a corner where I could do some meditation, because I would have space. And what will meditation bring you? Well, Definitely more peacefulness. Okay. A bigger condo for more peacefulness. And how about that advanced degree? What will that bring you? Well, if I had an advanced degree, I would get more recognition and be more visible. And what would that give you? Well, if I'm more visible, I would get more money. And what would that bring you? Well, I really have a chance to be of greater service. Ah, you want an advanced degree to be of greater service. So here we have it, 3 examples, and add yours to the pot, where you can see that everything we do has an underlying motivation for a state of being. That's what we want. We want that state of being. So I hope these 2 tips, choosing the future instead of the past and going for the top line instead of the bottom line, have given you some differentiations between masterful coaches and those who are not quite so masterful. My name is Teri Belf, and you can reach me at www.belfcoach.com or www.successunlimitednet.com, or email me at coach@belf.org. And you spell Belf, B like in boy, E-L-F like in Frank. Thank you for visiting, and stay tuned. We've got some more coming.